Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk today about a new game from Thames and Kosmos called My City. It's a legacy game that covers over 24 games, plus it has a eternal game concept to it. So let's go ahead and start off by opening the box and seeing what cool stuff's inside. We start off with the rulebook, which is a full overview of the game. As you see, it's fairly short, and it's two different games are in there. You've got the original game, which is the legacy variant. The last pages are for the eternal game, which is the one that can be played over and over and over again. Good thick cardstock pieces, easily punched out, that are for the different buildings that will be within your city. My City game is a generational game, so you'll be building it over generations, and what you do previously is going to go ahead and add on. These are your game boards. These come with a scoring grid to keep your score on. The actual city area that you're going to start in, and as you can see, a lot of space for stickers to go ahead and add in. On the back of each of your legacy boards is going to be the standard board for the eternal game, which is the one you can play over and over and over again. Legacy, eternal. Beyond that, special buildings, and your chapter packs. Chapter packs go from episode 1 through 3 in the first chapter, all the way to episodes 22 to 24 in the final chapter. So you're looking at least 24 games before you get to your final chapter. And as I said before, you get to do the eternal game as well. Plenty of baggies to keep your components in. Scoring tokens. And cards that go with the play, which will determine exactly where you're going to put things out. So in talking about the components, each component has a marker on the back. Those markers indicate the player. So you can easily divide up your pieces and your tokens by player. So there'll be gold, yellow, copper, and silver. On the front, of course, will be the buildings. So, in basic overview of the game, what you're going to be doing is you'll be drawing a card. That card will tell each player, not just you, but each player, the type of building you're going to be putting down. In this case, this is a red building. Red is a civic building. Those are your civic buildings. Yellow are going to be your residential, and your blue are going to be your industrial cities. You'll notice each one has got a shape, and you're going to need to place that shape on the board. You want to be careful on what you place this on. The reason being is, you do want to eventually cover up all the green open areas. You also want to go ahead and cover up your rocks, because rocks are -2 points. Green open areas are -1 point. You want to keep your trees because your trees are actually bonus points. They're bonus 2 points, so as long as you have the trees. When you place that very first building, you'll have to place it along the river in any type that you want. As long as it touches the river, you're in good shape, and it starts scoring you the points. Now play continues with the drawing of the next card. In this case, this will be an industrial building of the same basic shape type. Again, now instead of having to start off at the river itself, it just has to start adjacent to another piece. You could put it here, but that covers up your woods, and you don't want to cover those up. You cannot place it so it goes off the board. You cannot place it so it goes into the woods, and you can't place it so it crosses the river like that. You can place it so that it is adjacent to that piece on the other side of the river because it still counts as adjacent. As the game goes on, you'll place more and more pieces. Again, in this case, I really want to cover up those rocks because that is a -2 point if I don't cover it up. I want to cover up the rocks. At the end of the game, it will end when either you have no pieces left or no cards left on the table, or when both players have passed. You can pass at any time, but you're giving up points when you're getting a pass. So if I'm going to pass, say if you start off at 10 points, if I decide to pass and not place down a piece because I didn't want to waste it, I would lose one of my points at the end of during that round. This is without even opening up the new land first portion, which will give us other things to go ahead and add to it. As you go along the chapters, it'll go on and on and on. When we move to the legacy version is going to happen when you hit about the 4th game. So when you've gone all the way up to chapter 2, episode 4, and you finish that, you get the evergreen version. So now we can go ahead and play over and over again because all the pieces that you would need for this is going to be right in there. As you can see, the board itself added a lot more to it. Same basic rules apply. Card is drawn. Place your piece. In this case, remember, your piece can't go onto the big rocks. It can cover the small rocks. You have to be adjacent to the river, so that is not adjacent to the river, but that is. You can't go into the woods. You can't go into the surf. You can't go into the woods. You'll also notice that there are a couple of cool things on here. Gold mines. Those are extra points. There's a big point bonus if you are the first person to go ahead and match your pieces so that gold mine to gold mine are touched. But that only goes to one person. So the first person that gets that type of situation wins. Except I went too far. Okay. There's also a well. The well will give you X bonus points if you can get all 3 colors of buildings around it. So you need to go ahead and place it so that you can get the extra building colors on there. Be careful when you place your buildings because once they're placed, you can't go ahead and change them again. So there's a lot of Tetris-esque concept to it. It's a good strategy to it. It's really not as much luck involved as you may think there is. And every game you play is going to change for the future games. It's a very cool legacy game. And as I said, the evergreen version is really cool as well. This was basically designed by Reiner Knizia, probably my favorite game designer. And arguably one of the 2 best being Knizia and Richard Garfield, of course. I look forward to playing this game. I'm going to probably have one version at home to play with my family and one version here at the store to play with my friends.